I've fought a couple times now in Canada. I've fought in the first 3 UFC events held in Montreal. And, I'm very excited to be on this side of the country fighting. Vancouver's a beautiful city. I love coming out here any chance I get. And, to be fighting a guy like Yves Edwards here is just icing on the cake for me.
I'm Al Campbell. I'm from Xinhua News Agency, which is China's national news agency.
All right, welcome.
When are you? I heard you open a Beijing office. When are you going to move into the China market, please?
We're working on that. You are correct. We did open an office in Beijing, and we're securing television deals over there. We've done some fights on the internet. The internet is huge there, and we're just planning now on the exact day when we can get in there. We're working on talent too from China, and soon. I can't give you an exact date, but ASAP.
How can you explain the global success of UFC? Have you looked at every market to make sure that this is a global circuit?
Yeah, one of the things that we always believe is that fighting is the one sport that crosses borders very well. Football, American football in America, there's nothing bigger than it. They've spent billions of dollars to try to break into other countries. It hasn't worked. Soccer's big in a lot of places around the world, not that big in the United States. Hockey's huge up here. It's not that huge in the United States. But fighting works everywhere. You put 2 guys in an octagon, they can use any martial art they want. It crosses all language barriers, color barriers, because at the end of the day, I don't care what color you are, what language you speak, or what country you come from. We're all human beings, and fighting's in our DNA, man. We get it, and we like it.
Much time stopped, My last fight was 10 months ago, but I'm not too worried. I'm glad because the UFC didn't change the date of the fight, So now I got a fight next Saturday, and I'm ready for this.
Junior, he's got great boxing. Let's face it, it's what's got him here. He's one of the top heavyweights in the world and one of the top fighters in the world, and I'm no new opponent to top opponents here in the UFC. So, this is the 4th top 10 guy I fought in the UFC, and I'm excited to bring my skills and see what happens on Saturday. This is it's going to be an explosive fight. I believe in my power and knocking people out, and I know he does as well.
It's been pretty good the whole time since my fight with Joe Stevenson and I left the UFC. I've wanted to work my way back in. I think the time that I had outside of the UFC, I made some mistakes, did some things wrong, but I think by doing the right things in training, doing the right things in camps, I've been able to get back in. And with the UFC being what it is now, it's a completely new animal. The fans it's crazy to see this happening. I mean, we never had fans like this many people at post-fight press conferences before, that were wide open to the public. This is kind of crazy to me, but I've come to appreciate it, and it's really good to be back. I ran into Dana a few times while I was not signed, and I told him, I'm just working to get back home, and it really feels like I'm back home.
We do understand that many fighters come from terrific struggles financially and tough backgrounds in their lives as they're growing up. You conversely have come from a relatively privileged background. Can you explain to us the dynamic? Where does your drive come from?
Yeah, my father was a very hardworking guy. My mom was very hardworking. I'm one of 6 kids. My dad was a doctor, but nothing was ever handed to him. He came from Peru. Both my parents are from Peru, and they wanted to make a better life for themselves and never made excuses and just worked hard to get what they wanted. And when it came to their kids, they didn't hand anything to us either. If we wanted to go get it, we wanted to go to the movies and get money, then what are you doing here? Go work, go do it. They didn't hand us fish, they taught us how to fish. And my dad, the big thing was, as a Peruvian American, coming to this country, he said he had to work twice as hard as everybody, and that's one thing he instilled on us was you got to outwork everybody, and there's always going to be someone better than you, but there's no reason why they should outwork you.